All right, good evening, traders. Today is September 5th, 2023. My name is John. I moderate the BYOB trading room. We're going to look at SPY, all right? So here's the S&P 500. Here's a daily chart. Here's a daily candle. Candle making a lower high and a lower low. I just want to point out possible market makers reversal pattern on the 3-day chart. If we look at this big green candle, that's a 3-day candle, all right? So it's comprised of 3 daily candles, all right? There's your igniting bar. There's your pause. Now we're coming back, going to look for a check of support. Where would support likely be? Maybe at the midpoint, maybe at the backside of this downtrend line, and maybe at the anchored VWAP. We'll see where they want to send it. And where is the anchored VWAP? Let's take a look. Here's 10-minute chart. Anchored VWAP is right here, 446.30. So it's a possibility they may want to go for this anchored VWAP just to test it for support before going higher. Now, if we look at this, that would make a nice MMRP. If we look at it on the 3-day chart, zoom over here, move this out. All right, here's your igniting bar, your pause candle, your check of support. Then we're looking for 3-day candles to the upside, each one making higher highs and higher lows. Okay, so that's what we're looking for on that market maker's reversal pattern. All right, so that would be likely, because if we look at the SPY on the daily chart, what do we have? We have a higher low here and a higher high. And if we do a J hook off the backside of, this downtrend line or the midpoint, all right, that would produce the higher low again, therefore putting pressure on the bulls to create the higher high, in which case those 3-day candles should be able to pop back up here, maybe even challenge these highs, maybe even challenge the yearly high up here at 459.44. We'll see what happens. No guarantees. All right, that's what we're looking for, is for that to happen right there. So there's SPY. All right, so here's our uptrend. Uptrend is still in effect. It's still working. All right, so take that. Now let's go take a look at QQQ. All right, here we are with QQQ. Uptrend still working. Up over the midpoint, knocking on the door, quadrant 4. Notice we're getting kind of hammered down by a possible downtrend line right here. And all I'm doing is connecting this high with this high. That's it. So you can see they stab up there, and where are they trading? Just about over it. So we'll see what they want to do. So there's QQQ knocking on the door, quadrant 4, up over the midpoint. Like to see these SPY and QQQ come back, test minor support, making another higher low, and then rocket up here and start working on these highs up here. So that's QQQ. FNGU. All right, so now here's FNGU. Here's Friday's candle, FNGU. Well, I got to say, almost a bullish engulfing. At one point today, FNGU was bullish engulfing. Right there. You can see where the wick is up overhead here. So FNGU looking good with closing today's candle over the midpoint. Notice we've got equal low but higher high. Good sign for FNGU. FNGU still in a daily uptrend with a higher low and a higher high. So we still have a neckline to deal with for FNGU. This would be the left shoulder, right shoulder, neckline right here. So they've got some headwinds up against them right up here at about 194, 195 area. We'll see how high they get tomorrow or later this week. So there's FNGU. Now let's take a look at IWM. All right, IWM just putting in a horrible day. All of those that played the puts on IWM did really well today. Here's IWM closing the day with a red trend indicator ball underneath the 8 EMA, far below the 3 EMA. So here's IWM coming back down. I would think IWM's looking for a target right through here. We'll see what happens, whether they can find support on minor support. That's this candle that sticks up. They could come back, bounce off of that, and head back up to the midpoint. So there's IWM. Notice on IWM, you've got a higher low here. So pressure's on the bulls to produce that higher high. Doesn't have to be done in one day. They can work on it for 2 or 3 weeks to produce that higher high. Remember, this high right here took, well, almost a whole month of July to create that high. So it wouldn't be out of the question for this to take 6 weeks to get up here and produce another higher high, or at least 4 weeks to challenge that high. So we'll see what happens. There's IWM. Now let's take a look at the diamonds. Diamonds just having not a great day. Not a great day. Lower low, lower high, lower low there. Falling below the midpoint. Not a good sign there. Hopefully creating a higher low so that they can go back up here and start challenging the midpoint and the minor resistance here. So you can see here's minor resistance. That's these candles that stick down. See the tails that stick down? These are wicks up here. Tails are on the bottom here. I always think of the tails on the bottom. All right, so there you go. So then coming up into minor resistance and gotten hammered back down to the midpoint. So we'll see what happens with the diamonds. Still got an uptrend working. Notice on the diamonds we do have higher low here. So again, it took almost 3 weeks to create that high. Wouldn't be out of the question to see this kind of meander around for 2 or 3 weeks before challenging this high up here. We'll see when they want to get it done, but there we are with the diamonds. Making the higher low. Hopefully the bulls will get the message to go up there and create the higher high. So there's diamonds. Now let's go take a look at our technical indicators. These are the two that I follow the most. All right, so here we are, T2122. Right out of the gate, we fall out of the buy zone, clear through the midpoint, all the way down to the chop zone, and then just start making lower highs and lower lows all the way into the sell zone. So obviously the bears are moving the ball today much more than the bulls are. So you can see that on T2122. Now let's see if T2123 says the same thing. Here we are, T2123, red all day long. And the last candle showing some space between the trend indicator and the price action, or at least the closing price action. So coming up, maybe they'll get a bounce tomorrow off of this flat 200 period moving average. We'll see what they want to do. Let's look at the 3-bar chart. So 3-bar chart, we had 2 days of green trend indicator balls, and then that was over. So today kind of squashed any hopes for the bulls right there. So we'll see how far down they want to go by tomorrow. There's T2123, 3-bar chart. Take it back to the 15 there. All right, so now let's go take a look at the US dollar. So let's see where the dollar is. Yeah, give me just a minute, May. I'll take care of that for you. SPY dollar. Okay, so let's look at where the US dollar is sitting today. So here we are. Here's the US dollar. Dollar kind of bullying here. Let's get this open. I like to put it on a 4-hour chart. All right, so I'll zoom in. All right, here's the fade down, and then you can see a bull recovery, a bull 180, and you can see the price action is up over these tails. These tails would have been major resistance. Notice the price action is up over these tails. If they can close a couple days up here, this major resistance will now become minor support. Strong dollar is not good for our markets because it makes our goods and services more expensive. So we do not want a strong dollar, and the dollar is been ratcheting up since the 17th of July. So there's the dollar. Now we'll take a look at the economic calendar. Tomorrow, international trade goods at 8:30. PMI composite final. I think that's probably going to be an audit, or they're just going to revise the numbers. We'll see. ISM services index. We'll see what they want to do. That's 10 o'clock. So 9:45, 10, and 8:30. And we got the beige book at 2. That can often rock the market. So be careful with that one. All right, so there's Wednesday. Following day, jobless claims, productivity and cost, petroleum status, and natural gas status. A couple of speakers, but nobody like Powell is speaking. So there you go. So that's Wednesday, Thursday. We've got a short week this week because Tuesday... Actually, because Monday we were off. So we got just a 4-day week this week. So there's the economic calendar. Earnings. It's going to be a light day tomorrow. Nothing really big. Copart's probably the biggest one. And they don't even know when they want to report. So there you go there. That's tomorrow. Thursday reporting. We got Toro Company. I don't know if that's lawnmowers. And DocuSign, so a couple of them right there. So I don't know what RH is, that Red Hat or whatever. So you got a few of them, nothing really major though. All right, so now we'll take a look at Friday. Get somebody that doesn't know when they want to report, and we got Kroger reporting in the morning time. That would be a big one, and PT Telecom Indonesia. And they don't know when they want to report either. So we'll see what happens there with those. So all in all, if the Bulls want to get it done this week, the calendar's wide open for them to get it done. All they got to do is find some buyers. So let's move that out of the way. Let's go back. Now let's revisit USO. So here's USO kind of gapping up this morning. And it looked like it was rolling over in the pre-market, so USO gapping way up and coming back, but not filling the gap. So crude oil abnormally strong right now. Now let's take a look at UNG. UNG, quite the opposite story here, gapping down, and that's not filling the gap. So if we look at UNG on the bigger picture, big hockey stick bear flag. You can see UNG below the trend line, below the midpoint of the flag. Not looking good for UNG. UNG is really having a tough year this year after falling out of bed over here since 2023, and it's just been lower ever since. I think what was the high at the beginning of the year was 13.41, and they've been at roughly between $6 and $8 since since March. So there's UNG. Silver had a pullback this morning, and we'll see where they wind up. So they gap down and trade down, spiking the midpoint and the backside of this downtrend line. So there's silver falling out of bed also. Gold. Let's take a look at gold. Gold spiking the midpoint and getting hammered down by the downtrend line. So gold having a tough time too. Now let's go take a look at semiconductors. Semiconductors holding up there. They're just hanging on like that cat in the poster. Friday's coming. Hang in there. Well, there's SMH putting in a equal high and slightly lower low, maybe about a couple pennies. Nice move on the SMH, holding up and closing the candle up over this downtrend line, spike in quadrant 4 and well up over the midpoint. So semiconductors looking good here. IYT transports getting the big red candle today. Is that true? Because they did this to me last time. All right, so it's 245. Let me go back there. All right, and then what do they got? 241, so 245. All right, so we got a big H pattern rollover here back to the downtrend line, actually to the uptrend channel line right there. I don't know whether they're going to turn that around. Half of this candle is false information or it's post-market activity. Okay, so it's really not that ugly, but let me just say it still doesn't look good. It is in a bear flag formation, down and over to the right. There's no higher lows or lower highs in here for us to hang our hat on, so not a very good sign. And you can see right there, there's the minor support, and that's where we got our little mini bounce off that little minor support. Now, if you look at this minor support, not too many candles on each side of it, so the strength of that minor support is not going to offer much. Not like something with this many candles on each side. So we've got, actually you got this and this combined together gave us that bounce. So we're kind of hung up here. We'll see if we can get the ship turned around and back into the channel going in the northern direction. So there's IYT. Not looking good right now, but I'd say it's probably already had a bounce. Maybe we get a double bottom. We'll see what they want to do with it. XLF. Let's go see our financials. All right, so here we are with the financials. Notice the financials put in a higher low. Pressure on the bulls to produce the higher high. Got a downtrend. First, got to break the downtrend and the midpoint and then climb up here through the minor resistance. You can see right here the minor resistance that comes down to the midpoint right there. All right, so that's price action comes up to the minor resistance and gets pushed back. Now, if they come all the way back down here and start making lower lows, then we've got another lower high and another lower low. But right now, they're still attacking this midpoint and the downtrend line. I got to give them a good job for doing that. Still kind of holding it up there. Got a little tail candle up here, nice wick. So maybe they bounce off that, re-challenge that again tomorrow. XLF. Not quite as strong as the semiconductors, but still looking a little bit stronger than the transports. You notice, we're up at the midpoint here on XLF. Go back to the transports, and yeah, we're not at the midpoint on the transports. But remember again, that candle really doesn't belong. You can see right here. So back in quadrant 1 for the transports. Not looking good at all. All right. That's going to be a wrap up. I'll see you all at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. I'm going to take questions for another 10 minutes. If you got some questions, put them in there. And May wants to see what the white line is on the SPY. I'm going to go find it for her. Everybody have a wonderful evening.